followed by the pound. This menu will repeat. Access code accepted. There are 2 participants in this conference.
What's going on, YouTube? You live streaming?
This conference is being recorded. Q&A session started.
Oh, shoot. What's going on, JMA students? It is mentorship call time. This is a special mentorship call edition as we are live streaming on YouTube as well. So we're giving a sample mentorship call lesson to our YouTube followers, but they can't ask questions. They get to listen to your questions, maybe to learn a little bit. I'm sure to learn a lot of it, actually. But as you guys know, this is our bi-weekly call. Every other week, you get this mentorship call with me because you're J. Morrison Academy students. And it is, you press *6 to ask your question. Every student gets 2 questions. You have the right to go back into the question queue and ask 2 more questions in the order in which you are aggressive enough to, ask your question. So whoever's in line for their Q&A, for your questions or comments, press *6. We'll start our mentorship call. You know it's being recorded, and the recordings will go in our archive in your student portals so you can reference this call later on in the year or tomorrow, whenever you want, okay? So let's get started. JMA Residential Real Estate Course Mentorship Call. Who's our first caller, our first student? Where you at, Chris? Okay, nobody in the queue yet. So I'll start by, we had our commercial real estate course mentorship call earlier, and I was going over just different deals that I have within my investing business, from our Black Wall Street project in Baltimore, our Alpine real estate developments, our Panama real estate partnership, a new athlete that we spoke to today that we're working on. I got to get some paperwork for tonight. Once I get off this call, I got to actually develop a plan for him. And there was another project. We have a deal in Newark and a deal in East Orange and a deal in Pennsylvania also that we're working on, small residential real estate. But just letting you guys know that everything that you're getting in your blueprint, if you are active with it, this is always accessible to you. And a lot of these deals are actually done with other students or proteges of mine as well. So,
216.
We got 216 area code on the line.
Yes, hi, David. This is Barbara. Anybody can hear me?
I hear you, Barbara. Yep.
Okay, great. I have a couple of questions. I've been listening to the recordings from the mentorship call since 2014.
Okay.
And you mentioned something to one of the callers about, I'm just going to explain her question and your answer, and then I'm going to ask my question about that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she was saying that someone was asking her for her settlement list. They were saying that they were investors, but they wanted to look at her list. And your advice to her was that she didn't need to have a lot of, a ton of inventory. She just needed like her top 3 properties to provide them with, just show them the specs and maybe some of the inside photos, and then also to, show them the property or work with them as far as being an investor.
Right.
So my question on that is, would that be a good way to show your business on your website, is to take a couple of properties like that and actually do that same thing, just show some specs, show some photos from the inside, and show the numbers? Is it wise to show the numbers on your website, or what do you think about that?
Okay, so and I actually remember that caller in that scenario. So I believe it was Raylanda actually.
Yeah.
Yep. It was Raylanda McClinton called in from Detroit. She said 2014, right? Yeah. So that's the other great thing. So we're doing this live on YouTube. So my YouTube followers, our students get all the archive calls, over 80 hours of archive mentorship calls, all the way from 2014 when we first started the academy. And so they get to reference those calls and learn. And so the queen on the phone went all the way back to 2014, and her questions from a conversation I had with a student back then that applies to her now, right? So that's the importance of listening to the archive. So I want to commend you on that, right? You could have been listening to who knows what in your, on your computer or in your earbuds, but you were learning and studying and digesting the archive calls. So my thing with her, I believe, is that in that scenario back in 2014, she didn't have the properties contracted, I think was my concern. And so she wanted someone to see what properties that she was working with, but she didn't have them contracted. So she wasn't protected to actually show those sellers the properties, because then they could have, went around her, right? So I just told her to give them a brief overview and scenario of what she has. So to answer your question, no, if you have inventory that you have contracted and you have the purchase rights to those properties, you could disclose a little bit more information. And there's nothing wrong with you. Actually, I want to recommend that you do show the numbers, because as you probably heard me say, we don't sell real estate more than we sell numbers, right? So we're selling the numbers to investors of their return on their investment, whether because of a flip or rental income or whatever their scenario may be. So it is important that you do show the numbers, what the, their acquisition fee would be, their wholesaling fee, what their interest rate would, not interest rate, excuse me, but what their rehab costs would be and what their after repair value would be. So you do want to show what the deal looks like from a number standpoint outside of the pretty pictures of the house.
Okay. And it's okay to put all the numbers right up there.
Yes, and you could do so also. What I would even say though is don't put the address. You could put the city, right? Put the city, put the property. You don't got to put the exact address. People can acquire more for more information.
Right. Okay. And my second question is, have you ever structured a deal, or how would you structure a deal as a wholesaler if the motivated seller wanted to, they were in trouble with the house, but they wanted to remain in the property as a tenant after it's sold?
Gotcha. So, okay, so you're asking, how would I structure a deal as a wholesaler if the motivated seller wanted to remain in the house as a tenant? So that's pretty simple. What you would need to do though, well, one, you can't make them any guarantees, but so you want to try to give yourself some wiggle room in the equation if they'll let you in the negotiations. But as you're assigning that contract to your end investor, right, as the wholesaler, you want to let them know that the seller is interested in being a tenant. The only problem with that is that the seller would still have to qualify to be a tenant, right? So if they're still in financial trouble and they're not stable, that's not going to be attractive investment for an investor to take on an unstable tenant. So you could say yes to the investor that, look, you know what, I want to push this deal, yes, with you still staying as a tenant. That could be, what we're aiming for, but you'll still have to prove to be a qualified tenant, or no investors want to take on that headache, because then what if they don't pay, right? So you assign a contract, the investor buys the property, they're now still in the property, never left, and now they say, you know what, I'm not paying, I can't pay. And now an investor immediately has to go through an eviction process, and depending on what state they're in, they're already starting off the investment with headaches. So a way you could do it, if there's profit there to do it, or if there's funds or proceeds that are coming to the seller, is say, look, you can remain as a tenant, but you got to leave a 6-month security deposit or pay 6-month rent up front, or some other kind of creative incentive where to make your investor feel a little more comfortable, right? Right, it's more secure, correct. And you create a win-win for everybody.
Is there a way to pre-qualify the tenants to put that in the contract in any kind of way?
Well, you could. I mean, what you could do is you could, and not every motivated seller or distressed seller has bad credit necessarily, right? But if they're in a mortgage situation, there's a likelihood if they're distressed, they may have took some credit dings, so they may not qualify from that standpoint. They may have some income issues, right? They're distressed or that motivated. Maybe not. Maybe they're all this tight, but they just don't, they're motivated for other reasons. But there's no true pre-qualifying guidelines for a tenant. It's all on what a landlord is willing to accept. So it's all going to be on what that landlord, your end buyer, is going to be willing to accept. So it would have to be some kind of approval or contingency kind of in there. Yeah, that one's tough because you really got to sell it to the investor. Like, you could be cool with it as a wholesaler, but now what's your end investor? What is going to be their feelings on? And they may want a tenant there. They say, oh, this is great. I get to buy a property already as a tenant and I got instant income. That could be a good thing if it's someone that, is tenant ready and tenant friendly or landlord friendly.
So a nice deep security deposit would be something that would show, good faith.
Absolutely, yep. A nice deep security deposit, I think, would be probably one of the biggest things. And now for the tenant, it's like, hey, you get this back as long as you pay your mortgage or your rent. You get your security deposit back. You're not losing the money. It's just going into escrow for the seller to feel comfortable and going to negotiation, or paying a substantial amount of months up front, maybe, and then still paying on top of that. So something creative in that regards. All right, great questions, Queen. Have a great night. So we go to our next student. Hello. Hello. Next student. Hello.
What up, Jay? This is Wendell Taylor, Los Angeles.
Oh.
My question was, should we go ahead and form our LLCs and get business cards printed if we have everything in place, or should we wait a couple more lessons until we get to that point?
Okay, so you got your name, your LLC, all that in place, right? You're saying?
Yeah.
And you're saying, should you start forming your business cards and getting your marketing together?
Yeah. Should we actually register our LLCs? Because I have a business name. I'm just.
Yes, register. Yeah, correct. Yep. Go ahead and register.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that way you're prepared as you go through your next lessons. And once you get through, your first kind of set and you get to your lessons on negotiating your deal, get to the closing table, you'll be prepared to go out there and start running. And you don't got to scramble around and try to put your LLC together and wait for the formation to come back and see if the name is approved. And so you get all those things done now. So as you get to your 5th, 6th, and 7th lesson, you'll be in a position to go start doing business legitimately.
All right. Gotcha.
All right.
My second question is kind of more of a personal question.
Sure.
I'm on fabulous. So any places where I can go to buy like a suit or won't take the day?
I'm gonna tell you, if this is here's a suit trick. And if you go to like the Men's Warehouse, Joseph A. Banks, any of the kind of like discount kind of stores for suits, you can go there and get like one of those deals where you get like 3 suits for like, a few $100s or, whatever those kind of crazy deals they have. Get one of those suits, get some solid colors that you can, switch up ties and shirts, and go try to find a tailor, right? Tailor sounds expensive, but they're not expensive, right? They're expensive if they make you a suit from scratch. But go find a tailor and have a tailor take one of those, warehouse style suits and actually tailor it to you to like a European cut. And you'll be looking like $1 million for a couple $100.
All right, got you. Appreciate it.
No problem, Ken. Go to our next caller.
Jay?
Yes, sir.
I was going through the textbook and I was trying to figure out what time the percentage in regards of the evaluating a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell what percentage you need to have the real estate deal under contract. The real estate number or you need to understand.
Okay. So it's partly part. Did you get your lesson on evaluating deals?
I can't hear you good.
I said, did you get to your lesson on evaluating deals, on how to evaluate a deal?
That didn't come through my email. I wasn't able to see it.
Okay. So you'll be getting that. You probably didn't get there yet. So right. So that's like your lesson, I think 4. So once you get that lesson, it'll fully break it down for you. But your qualifying number is your 65% ratio. And I'm also going to talk about that lesson. You can go over that ratio, but the higher you get over 65% of your all-in cost, right? So I'm talking about the cost your acquisition cost and your rehab cost and any other fees. You want that cost to be 65% of the after repair value of the property if it's a rehab, or the market value of the property if it's not a rehab. So you can go over that 65% number, But the higher you get over it, the less attractive the deal is to a buy and flip investor. But if you have a buy and hold investor who's just interested in rental income, then you can go higher, 65, 75, 85%, maybe 80%. But just understand the higher you get over that number, the more it just becomes a regular transaction, unless of an actual deal, so to speak. Because there's not that much equity there.
Are you saying I need to qualify this investor and see if he's a buy and hold or a rehab?
That will give you, yes, well, that will, once you get your buyers, you understand what your buyers' criteria is and what their needs are, you could work backwards, right? And know what kind of deals they want. It may not be an investor you wholesale to. You may find someone that wants to buy a house to go live in it with their family. And they're not even interested about it having equity or having rental income. And so therefore, you could wholesale a property to them and not have to worry about the purchase ratio because all they're interested in is having a house that suits their living needs. And you can charge them your wholesale fee on top of whatever the acquisition is just because they want to live there. So it's all about just matching, obviously matching your inventory, your real estate with your buyer. So whatever they're looking for, you want to have a property or be able to find a property, have a property in inventory that can match up to them so you can eat, so you can make a check. Yeah. So but the point is, I don't want anyone on the call, anyone watching, to get stuck on, and I repeat this in the lessons, you'll see it in the videos, right? Because I know you're reading ahead in the book, so you're not getting all the lessons, right? So you're just reading the book. When you get the lesson, you're going to understand that I'm giving you guys strategy for you to be able to play around with, but understand the perspective you need to have to go execute to make money. Meaning, like, nothing I say you got to take. No, I can't say that. Some things are hard and firm. But in regards to mixing and matching your buyers, I'm just trying to give you a perspective on what's safe and what gets more risky, right, for the investor buyer. But if you see another angle in which you could still make money because you're in this business to make money, that's why you're forming a business, right? You see another angle you can make money using the same strategy, by all means, take that opportunity. I don't want you guys taking shortcuts in regards to building your business, building your brand, and how you build up your list. Don't take those shortcuts. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
The second question has to do with, I guess, the fees.
Yes.
And I guess I have to see the video, but I guess I was wondering, does it go up or is it always a flat fee?
The fee is whatever that you want to charge, right? Whatever you think you can get paid from your end investor or end buyer that won't kill your deal. There's no set number for a wholesale fee. The average wholesale fee in America statistically is about $10,000, between $5,000 and $10,000. But I've seen students make 15, 40, 30, 90, myself, on wholesale deals. But you may make a 1,500 or 3,000 or 500 on a wholesale deal. It's all on what two parties agree to. And there's no magical formula on what you can charge because every buyer situation is different. Every seller situation is different. Every variable of every transaction is different. So there's no magical number or no percentage you can go off of what to charge on a wholesale deal. All right?
Pretty much I need to evaluate it and kind of give a number that I think is reasonable.
Correct. Yeah, it's just doing business. You want to, you're going to just look and say, well, how anxious is this investor? Are they really anxious? They really want the property? How good is this deal? Is it the area they want? So, obviously, what do you do when you know someone's really anxious to buy something? You could charge a little more, right? If someone's not that pressed, but you're more pressed to get a check, then you want to charge a little less. It's just basic business principles. That's all. All right. No problem. Okay. And I'm gonna say this for you, King, and anyone on the line. The reason why you don't have and why I don't teach any set fee for wholesaling is because if I said, hey guys, charge 3%, charge 10%, or whatever your equity is, or whatever the deal is, that may kill your deal, or that may shoot yourself in the foot because you'll be losing money where you could have charged 30%, but you only charged 10 because of some formula. But you had a situation where the buyer was willing to pay more because they were so attracted to the property. So I don't want you guys to get focused on a fee. I want you to get focused on the scenario and think, like young, smart men, businessmen and women, out here trying to figure out what's the best scenario within that transaction. So you don't miss any money, you don't kill your deal. Long story short. All right, next student.
Hello?
How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, I have a question and a comment. I was given the wrong phone number to call tonight for the conference call.
What, your email?
I was given, yes, in my email. I was given the 432 number 0775. It just so happened I had this number still stored in my phone. And I tried this number
Wow.
and the access code and it worked.
Really? Chris, can you check that?
Yes.
She's saying that she was using the last week's call.
No, she's saying that not the PIN number, but the main number she's saying that went out tonight was not the right number.
Okay.
Yes. It was 0775 instead of 0075.
Interesting. All right, Chris is double checking that. Are we lighter? Is it a lighter attendance than usual?
I sent you a message on Instagram telling you that it was wrong.
Oh.
Like 2 minutes.
Wow.
So I don't know if it was just me or other people, but I just figured it out.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
It
Yup.
was just me.
Yeah. No. It wasn't just you. Someone else just texted me, said went to the old emails and found a number. Let me. I'm actually gonna post. Chris is gonna send an email blast now to everybody.
I just figured it out. I
Oh.
was like, well, let me try this number and put the access code in there, and it worked.
All right. Well, great for being so innovative and proactive. Let me send out something.
Okay. And then my next thing is when I spoke on Monday, because I'm in a credit mastery program, I spoke to Will about me paying my tuition, and I've emailed. It's been over a week now that I emailed customer support. Nobody's gotten back to me because I paid it through PayPal, so I don't necessarily know if I'm set up on a recurring thing.
Right.
But nobody has gotten back to me.
All right. Well, let's address that as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to let me see. And what's your name, Queen? I'm sorry.
LaShonda Boyd.
Okay. So I will make that call tonight to our team and make sure someone gets back to you in regards to that.
LaShonda Boyd.
LaShonda Boyd. You said right?
Yes.
All right. Appreciate you for that.
I sent Will the email, and he, said that he received my email, but I still haven't had any contact with anybody in customer service.
Okay. Well, let me go fire somebody. All right. We'll take care of it.
Okay.
All right. Was that your questions, or you have an actual question in regards to
Oh,
the
yeah,
lessons?
I don't have any questions to ask yet because I missed like 20 minutes of what you were talking about.
Okay. Well, no. Well, I'm just on the calls. I'm just answering questions in regards to what you have in your lesson. So I'm not teaching on the calls. Yeah, these calls are just for you guys to ask questions in regards to your investment careers, your lessons, and all that. So this is an open line for the students. Yep.
Okay. So my question is, this goes back to like first lesson because I wasn't able to get in, and I wasn't able to get in a question on the last couple of calls. I wanted to know, like, when you said that, you go to the bank and have them assess how much house or how much money you can get. If you're not planning on buying at that moment, do you still have to go through the deal? Like, them telling you all of the things that you have to do? Like, are you set in that?
Yes. You need to know.
Doing all the work?
You need to know what your buying power is. You gotta know what your buying power is. So yes.
Right. No, I'm saying once I figure it out, and I'm not necessarily ready to buy at that moment.
Right. So yeah.
Am I locked in with the bank with them?
No. You're not.
Okay.
Yep. You can go to another bank, another mortgage company, in the future, and when you are ready, you're just preparing yourself to at least have an understanding of your buying power at that time.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, thanks, Queen. Appreciate you. All right, we got another student. I'm sending out an Instagram blast right now so we get everybody on the right number.
Hey, Jay.
How you doing, Ken?
Hey, what's going on, King? How you feeling?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, I am on the tail end of you speaking to King about this deal, so I really didn't get it all. But I had two questions. My first question is, I was actually listening to our back office where we were talking, I guess, to Sister Clinton.
Yes, yeah.
How to squeeze the most, like the secret to being able to squeeze the most out of the wholesale deal. And you went over it, but like you really kind of, like you did kind of fast. Like when you talk about real estate, like I'm like a little kid in front of a cartoon. Like I'm glued in. I'm like writing notes, but I didn't understand how to be able to get, like the most out of a wholesale deal. I know I kind of came in to tell him you speaking to King about the deal. Could you kind of go over that a little bit for us?
Okay, no problem. So in regards to making the most out of your transaction or your fee as a wholesaler or as an investor wholesaling? Is that what you're saying? Is that part?
Yeah. Like you're dealing with wholesale, like, I think you said something about like a barber shop, like I think she has her shop or whatever, so God came in for $50,000, like being able to get the most out of the wholesale deal. And just being able to get the most out of the wholesale deal, like little secrets or whatever.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, the key is that you really want to assess your end investors, what their needs are, right, in a wholesale transaction. So you want to assess what your end investors, like what their goals are, what their needs are. And based on those needs, you're reverse engineering, you're working backwards to put the deal together in which you can profit, right? But it's still a win-win for them, right? So it's a win-win for your seller because now they're getting rid of a property that is distressed. It's a win-win for your investor because they're getting a property that meets their goals, whether their goals are rental income, a flip in equity, or their goals are simply a stronger living arrangement. So you just have to be savvy about, really, and this part of it is the art of it, right? It's not a computer formula. It's just the art of it, of understanding of, what fee is acceptable that my investor will still be comfortable, but then, I still make the most out of transaction without killing my deal. And so what I say is when you can keep a property, especially for a buy and flip investor, when you can have your wholesale fee and your acquisition cost and your rehab cost and still be in the ballpark of 65% of the market value or after repair value, you got a slam dunk deal, no matter how much your fee is. And so that's where you can maximize. If the person's interested in buying and renting, you can go, much above that 65% and still be in a comfortable space. But the closer you are to 65% purchase ratio, the better, the more attractive the deal is.
So that's what you basically showed us in the back office is about basically like evaluating the deal, and then from that evaluation of the deal, then we just take away, I guess a small fee within that 65 for our own self without, like you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to kill the deal. Like,
right. It don't gotta necessarily be a small fee. It could be a big fee. I mean, but the whole point is that it just needs to make sense. That's all. And you have to gauge what's going to make sense for you and that buyer, and while the seller is just going to be happy to get rid of the property. But you have to gauge on your own just what's going to make sense. And again, what's not going to kill your deal. So you can start high, and if they walk away from you, and hey, wait, hold up, you know what I'm saying? You can start high or start where you want to start. Again, the average wholesale fee in America is about $10,000, between $5,000 and $10,000. Typically is a good number. But if there's a space to go to 15 or 20, then and it all still makes sense. It depends on the size of the transaction, right? If you're wholesaling a $40,000 property in Detroit, then a $40,000 wholesale fee is going to sound astronomical. But if you're wholesaling an $800,000 property in New York, then a $40,000 wholesale fee is not so astronomical. Depending also on the equity in the deal, and again, the seller, the end investor, end buyers, what their goals are, what their needs are.
And then my second question, and I hope this ain't like I asked the kind of question I be done with that. But like I'm brand spanking new James, so like one thing, like I've got everything, but what I'm stuck on right now is the target audience is like I understand like like if you find that your niche is really wholesale lives and or whether you want to do rehabs or whatever the case is, like just kind of know what your target audience is right now where I'm at. And I don't know, and I just printed off the stuff that you put up on our back office as far as our 6 races.
Right.
And on there it has where you know what your target audience is A&D. It's like I don't know what my target audience is right now.
Right, your target audience in regards to branding, you mean your A and B markets?
Yeah, like I don't know, who should I be marketing to? Like, person, I don't know if I should market into like us to deal, like where the money, I just money is, like I don't know, like I'm stuck right there.
Well, that's why you get an A and B market. I mean, you have to figure out what market do you feel most attracted to? What market do you feel energized to go promote and market in? That's all. You're gonna be the one doing the work. So you gotta pick an A and B market that actually motivates you to go out there and hustle and promote and market, and where you feel comfortable and where you feel like you have the most. And what I usually center around is when you're picking your market in which you want to do business, you typically want to start where you have the most boots on the ground, the most relationships. And so that's where your family is, your friends are, where your network is. Those are going to be your first initial sources of support in business. That's what any business owners, whether it's real estate or any other business, when you're starting a business, who's the first person you're going to tell about your business? So, right. So it will be wise, I would say, to start your real estate investing business where you'll be wholesaling, buying, flipping, buying and holding one day, using private money, using hard money, all things that we teach. It'll be wise to start your real estate investing business in a space and in an area, in a geographical location where you already have people that will give you word of mouth support, that can tell their coworkers at work about you, or, you know what I mean? Like, so you want to go within your network and then figure out your next best network. And then that's your other target audience. So just look at where you think you could have the most impact. That's really the end of the day. Where can you have the most impact to tell you where your target market is? That's all it is. Or what space do you want to be in? You may say, you know what? I can't have the most impact right now in this affluent area, but I aspire to be there. So I'm going to go put myself there, which is what I did in Alpine. So that's your other thing. You can go where you're comfortable, where you got the most traction and most people around you, or you can go where you just want to be. And that's how you pick a target market.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, no problem, Ken. And I want to say to all the students on the call, 2 things. One, we are streaming live on YouTube. We're doing a sample J. Morrison Academy call for our YouTube followers, just so they can see what the inner side of being in the J. Morrison Academy is like. And with the opportunity my students do have to pick my brain and be mentored every other week. Also, I want to say, because there was a glitch and I guess a switch of a number in our private, number that we send out for your mentorship calls, we're extending the call an extra half hour tonight to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to call in and so we're going to, obviously, I always go to 10:30 practically anyway, but tonight I planned on doing a full hour. But we'll go an extra half hour to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to call in, being that there was an error made in the. And that's just part of business too. That's one thing I hammer home. I love, as weird as it sounds, I love exposing my mistakes. I don't like to be a fake person where I make you pretend like everything in business is going to go perfect, because it's not going to go perfect in my business or in your business. And so, as a businessman or woman, it's our responsibility to clean up our mistakes as professionally as possible. So even the queen that called in and had some customer service issues, I'm upset that I have to be on a live stream on YouTube and one of my students, who's a customer of mine for my business purposes, but a student and protege of mine, more importantly, can't get through to my customer service for a week. So I'm going to raise hell after this call because that's an embarrassment on me, but I'm okay with that embarrassment for the purpose of us all learning that this is the process of doing business and perfecting your business, where we evaluate, right? That's what I'm going to be teaching on our Money Church Monday. This coming Monday, on Money Church Monday, my next webinar is going to be on the 4 E's, on how you have business growth or personal growth. Here's how I'm going to give you guys a mini lesson right now. To have business or personal growth, what you got to always do is you evaluate the circumstance, the situation, or your personal life. You eliminate whatever the mess is, whatever's going on that you don't like, whatever is not conducive to your business progression or your personal progression. You evaluate, you eliminate. Then you evolve, right? You take your next steps forward, and then I messed it up. You execute, right? Off that, after you eliminate, you execute, and then you evolve, right? So mistakes are going to happen, errors are going to happen, employees, staff, whomever, appraisers, contractors. What can go wrong in this business will go wrong. You learn that in real estate soon. But your ability to persevere and be resilient and deal with it will be the difference between you being a thousandaire and a millionaire. And that's what I learned in my first couple of years in the mortgage industry. My mentor told me, John Wenzel, that same thing, what can go wrong will go wrong. You'll get all the way to the closing table. You done counted your money. You got 13 grand coming. Everything's perfect. And the last day of closing, the seller might back out. And now you're going to be heartbroken. But you got to shake it off and get back on the horse and get back to business. And that's business. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm happy for you guys to even be able to see some of my flaws, so to speak, and how I bounce back and be resilient and correct them. And we will correct them in a professional manner, and we're going to make up for them and continue to add value. So next student with that lesson.
Good evening, King. This is Pamela. How are you?
I'm great, Queen. Thank you. How are you?
Amazing. I do have a question. It's kind of in relation to your skill last week. So there, for the last call, I mentioned how the offer I put in takes all the knowledge that you shared through the academy. And it's a 2 or 3K, 4 units, half is like 13%. So like it seems to be under opportunities, but again, we got to get the phrases and like all those knowledge.
Wait, what's 13%? You said a 4 unit and something about 13%.
It's a cat rate is 13%.
Okay, cat rate is 13%. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so, the thing though is, the method that we're going to use to rehab, I'm not sure if it's going to work, and I really need your feedback.
Okay.
Your expertise. So, it's fully occupied, so naturally, because when we are move in,
Right.
one of the tenants will have to vacate.
Right.
But we're based on the tenants and their actions, like, we couldn't even continue, and I question if the tenants on top of their tenants that are good tenants, so we might have to, give each tenant 6 years to build a monthly, right?
Gotcha. So you got a 4. So let me see. You got a 4 unit. You're gonna be purchasing owner occupied, right? And a 4 unit is currently occupied, all 4 units. So you're gonna have to evict someone in order for you to occupy it prior to closing. You're gonna have to evict someone or give someone notice, right? For you to move in. Right. But you're having difficulty with, even in your inspections or viewing the property, you're having difficulty getting access to the units with 2 of the tenants.
Not yet. I'm anticipating that. I'm already talking to them.
Okay.
So, but the big question is, with the 2 or 3K, it's 6 months that we have, to do the rehab max. It's possibly an extension, but with each tenant, we're going to rehab 1 unit, and then I'll move in, get the other tenant 60 days, rehab that one, and then, get another tenant in at the new market value. And so that's the plan for each unit. But with the 2 or 3K, we're going to have 6 months.
Right. Well, what? Correct. So now I get it, Queen. So why would you? I understand rehabbing your unit first. You're moving into. Well, why wouldn't you renovate the other units simultaneously?
I'm asking, so it's twofold. Okay. And I asked the contractor about how they how to handle tenants who don't necessarily cooperate when you have this very strict, tight set of contractors and fulfillment.
Correct. So you're asking, okay, how to handle potentially hostile tenants when you're on a tight rehab time frame due to your loan stipulations. And so, yeah, how do you handle that, right? So my first suggestion would be I wouldn't do the rehab in 60-day phases per unit. I wouldn't do that. That already is going to be that's plain and too tight. I want to, a couple things you can do. One is prior to closing, you can try to get a stipulation in there prior to closing that already alerts the tenants of the rehab and what's going to be taking place and get them to sign off on it. So that's one thing. Two is I would find out, if you don't already know, are these tenants on month-to-month leases? Chris, could you do that light for me too, please?
They won't reach though.
What you say?
They won't reach.
Oh, over there I will, I think. Oh, I forgot. Anyway, sorry, Queen. But so yeah, I'll find out if they're on month-to-month leases. That will give you more flexibility as a landlord to be able to remove a tenant if they're on month-to-month leases, right? Another point is that I would consider, if you're moving in, I would consider finding out who's the worst tenant, and if you're comfortable moving in that unit, is moving the unit that got the worst tenant. If that still fits your living arrangements as far as bedroom count or top floor, bottom floor, or whatever, right? I would consider that. And I mean, just because you really can't force tenants to do anything for real. Like, you as a landlord, you do have certain rights to the property. You can give them notice, but if they're going to be hostile, they're going to be hostile. But I would try to find out who's the worst. I would try to find out who's on month-to-month leases. I would try to get them to agree to access to renovate the units. They should want to let you renovate to make their living situation more comfortable, right? You would think that someone would want you to renovate their unit so they have a better unit to live in with their family.
Well, they have to feel for that they're going to raise the rent. That's kind of the market value of their street, and they need to can't have the market value for the rent area.
Well, that just is what it is. Yeah. So you find out if they're on month-to-month leases, because like that's another thing you want to consider is like, well, how long are they going to be on this, whatever extended term lease they have, and so that should play a major part in what you do. But you renovating it, I really can't see anyone. I don't know. I've seen tenants do crazy stuff. And it's really hard to say, like, there's just for surely no guarantees in a situation other than you removing the tenants and re-tenanting. That's like the only thing you really could do to really guarantee a situation is removing the tenants and re-tenanting. Or, because even if they sign something in writing or agree, they still could do the opposite of that. You really don't have much power in a situation. I would ask your attorney, though. Ask your real estate attorney, who's ever handling your closing. Ask them, is there any local, because every state and city is different in regards to their landlord-tenant laws. Some states are more landlord-friendly. Some states are more tenant-friendly. So I would advise you to ask your legal counsel, are there any laws that support your rights as a landlord to be able to access the units at will? There you go. Do that. Yeah, ask your attorney. Right. Ask your attorney, are there any laws within your city, Baltimore, Maryland, in your state, that support a landlord's rights? Because some states are more landlord-friendly. Are there any laws in your state that give you rights as a landlord to be able to remove your tenant? Or not remove, but access the property at, within a certain amount of notice at will. There may be more flexibility within Maryland. So I would double check that as well. Every state is different.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Kay.
All right, no problem, Queen, and good luck. Keep me posted.
All right.
All right, take care. Our next student. Good evening, King. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. What about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm a little ticked off by something that happened earlier, but you know, I'm gonna brush it off. You know, overall, I'm great. Thank you. Lost the lessons, right? Lost the lessons. Wealth DNA.
I had a question as far as you know, you talked about building your brand and everything, and you offer you know the financing with the whole JMA partners to real estate. I wanted to know if there was any way, you know, as far as like another business being financed or backed by the J Morrison partners. Is that possible, or is it just strictly real estate?
Okay, gotcha. So, okay, in regards to the financing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you say, if I got like a wholesale deal and or anything, I'll submit it to the JMApartners.com, and then you guys will take a look at it, and you'll get back to us, and you know we'll go from there. Instead of it being a real estate business, what if I already have another brand in place that just needs, you know, financial backing or whatever, and just like the proposal, send it to you, would you take a look at it and go from there, or is it just strictly real estate?
Yeah, I'm gonna say primarily. Now, I used to take a look at a lot of business deals and private, independent, small business deals for funding or partnerships, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now, it's strictly real estate. I'm up to my eyeballs in projects right now, and so you know our funding. In our funding, we have you know access to $100 million of money to lend, but that's all for 1 to 4 unit residential real estate. And then privately outside of that, you know, we do peek at other business endeavors, but yeah, right now, like my wheelhouse is full, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the only question I had.
Absolutely.
I appreciate everything.
Yeah, but I will say this though: if you want to just, you know, play the numbers game and send it over, if you know, even if it doesn't get to me, I may peek at it, but we still got a couple other members on the team that can look at it. And if we do have an investor or relationship that can make sense, you know, we would certainly, you know, try to connect the dots. Yeah. So it doesn't hurt to send it, I would say.
It's related to real estate. It's a movement and some removal service. Like, you know, if you're a landlord and you have bad tenants, and they might leave a whole bunch of stuff inside the house.
Right.
You know, just jump moving service, move all that stuff out. Or if you're moving from one address to another, we do that. And glass service is doorstep trash pickup, whereas like a low-rise apartment complex, instead of the tenants taking the trash to the dumpster themselves, what my service does is we give you a trash can and you come during the week and take the trash to the dumpster for that apartment complex. And it's already has a website, business cards, everything you talk about building your brand. I've been doing it, but I didn't know I was doing it. So,
right.
But you know, I just didn't want to be all over the place. I'm still learning real estate and everything, and I'm going to start my website and everything. But I just didn't want to start something without finishing up another thing.
Right.
I just didn't want to be one of those people that, okay, I'm doing this one year, or I'm doing this one second, now I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this. I was just trying to, you know, keep everything in one line, one accord, and try to, you know, make everything make sense.
Right.
Already for a lot of money, you know, with this business, and you know, I'm there for my wealth education, and I want to learn real estate before I jump out there. I want to make sure, you know, I got everything in line, but at the same time, I don't want to forget about my other business that I've been working on, and I put blood, sweat, and tears. So that's why I question.
No. Actually, what I want to say, where you from, Philly?
No, I'm actually from Trenton, New Jersey, but I live in the DMV now.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Gotcha. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey.
All right. So yeah, what I love about the business model though is that the business is still within your same wheelhouse of real estate. So I think you actually could, if you leverage it the right way and promote it the right way, you can use one to promote the other. And as you're making those relationships with homeowners or with, you know, apartment complexes or whatever, that could be a great opportunity for, you know, to also, while you're making those runs or your team is making those runs, to also market your investment business as well. and
Okay.
really use one to fill the other, you know, in that regard. That's something you should consider.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate your time, and you just stay up. Keep
All
on
right.
doing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, King. Yeah, appreciate it. We'll go to our next student.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I do hear you. Yep. What's going on, King?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you? Yep, I hear you.
Pretty good. I had a question. I was wondering, because I know that you said that after a while you've been in the business and the game, you went to become a realtor because you saw you get 2 checks. Now, I was wondering the opposite. Could you, I know you could, but how beneficial would it be if you started to be a realtor and then start getting your clientele and seeing certain things that you can do and then start wholesaling and investing after that? Is that something foreseeable?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it real with you. To be honest, either way, my thing is that a realtor's retirement plan is to own real estate. There's no 401k for realtors. There's no, and even a 401k wouldn't be enough to retire off of, right? So for someone in real estate, a real estate professional, your retirement plan is going to be to own real estate. So whether you get into it first and then you just want to be a realtor on the side, or you are a current realtor, you aspire to be a realtor. Like some people, like that's what they want to do. They love it. They want to go show houses. They want to help families get in houses and all of that. That's great. I commend it. But you know, at the same time, you're still going to have to build some inventory and for yourself. And so, so yeah, either way, at the end of the day, it's long story short.
Okay. And one question within that, this is the way I remember you said minutes ago that you were saying that it's a way, the reason why you got to really become a realtor was because you get 2 checks and you double check. Now I'm wondering, is that in just buying your own house or is that in wholesale too?
Well, it's wholesaling and being an agent. That's not going to mix. You're going to have to be either or in that situation, right? And I know you heard me also say you have to give a lot of disclosure, a lot of full disclosure to all parties involved if you're a licensed agent and you're trying to also invest, whether you're buying or selling or wholesaling, right? Even a real estate agent that lists the property for sale has to acknowledge that they are a licensed real estate agent. So you gotta just give a lot of full disclosure to everyone, so no one can come back and say, "This is what I did. You did me wrong." And that disclosure to your best benefit should even be in writing with the parties involved.
Right. Okay. Because I went to Century 21 and was talking to one of the realtors there just to, I just wanted to get like a hands-on feel a little bit more of how things work and how they're doing things, get a whole understanding of everything. And then it was telling me, I was talking about this academy. And then he was trying to hear about it. He was kind of like, I don't know. I'm talking like good thing. They say A, B, C is about courses, things and that like that. And then saying kind of like, what does that get you kind of or whatever. And basically what I'm saying is it'd be beneficial to be able to get that information and just go ahead and just do the wholesaling on top of being, what I'm saying? Not saying just to be a realtor, but being a realtor first and then being a wholesale.
I mean, you got to understand, King, is like what a real estate license, what you're going to learn in real estate school, and what a real estate license gives you is it teaches you how to represent someone in a transaction of them buying a house or selling a house. Like, that's it. What you're learning here is how to be an investor and buy properties, rent properties, finance properties, put together private money for properties, wholesale properties. Like, that's 2 different whole worlds. Right now, I got called by the National Association for Real Estate Brokers. They just booked me for a 3-city tour to come speak to realtors, to teach realtors more about investing. Because you have so many realtors that represent investors all day, every day, and don't know how to invest their damn self.
Right, okay.
You can look for a house for somebody. You can go online, go to MLS, but you don't even know how to evaluate a deal. You don't know how to manage a landlord. You don't know how to flip a property. You don't know how to wholesale a property. You think wholesaling is illegal. You don't even get it because you're not knowledgeable. All you know is what they taught you in real estate school, how to be a licensed realtor.
Right. And crazy thing about maybe when I was telling him, like, yeah, the shit and the wholesale kind of had a schoolball face, like.
Because he don't know. Because they don't know. All they know is what this association taught them to know. And that's what I found out. And that's why I created my school. Because I'm tired of seeing our people go get into real estate schools and thinking they're doing real estate because now they're a licensed realtor. No, you're not doing real estate. You're working for people that's doing real estate. It's a difference.
Okay, man. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You got to clear it up. I appreciate it.
No problem, King. Have a great night.
Peace and blessings, King.
Peace, King. Blessings to you.
That's Storm from Jersey.
All right, all right. I'm from Jersey too. What's up?
All right. No doubt. I had a question for you, King.
All right, talk to me.
All right. My question to you is, if you're doing a deal, a wholesale deal in a different state of Maryland, do you have to use a title company, an investment free title company from Maryland, or can you use the investment the title company that you're doing business with in Jersey?
So you said, wait, excuse me, about a title company you were saying?
Yeah.
So repeat that last part. I'm sorry.
Okay. I said, if I have a wholesale deal, I'm doing a deal in a different state, do I have to use a title company from that state?
Correct.
Can I use my title company from Jersey?
No. You gotta use a title company for that state. Every state has different regulations and guidelines.
Okay.
Yep, and they're gonna be licensed and bonded in that state.
Okay. That's all I want to ask.
That was it. All right. No doubt. All right, yeah. I'm here, but I'm here for us. Absolutely. Appreciate you. All right, peace, Ken. We'll go to the next. Okay, what's going on, Wendell? Peace, Ken.
My question was about the all-in costs, more specifically the rehab costs.
Yes.
We're crunching the numbers. How will we know if there are any liens on the property? Because I know in the video you said the buyer usually does the title survey. So how will we know?
Correct. Well, you wouldn't know, meaning like know for sure if there's any liens. I mean, it's your job to ask the seller to be honest with you, right? Look, if the seller wants the deal to go through, they shouldn't lie to you, right? So you want to make that clear. Hey, look, I need the honest truth. Are there any liens you know about on the property? Are there any mechanical liens? Are there any other mortgages on the property? Is there anything I should know about, etc.? But it's not conducive for you to go get a title search or anything like that. So you got to go off the best information available to you. You can also search online, look at the city taxes, and see if there's any like tax liens on the property, anything like that. But other than that, you got to go in their word, and then once the seller goes in to buy, he or she will get a title search, and hopefully it matches up to what the seller was telling you.
And another question was outside of investing, just trying to be a homeowner. Should I go to the bank to get pre-approved or send money pre-approved? Even though I know I won't, would it be wise to just know?
Absolutely. I tell everybody, go see what your buying power is, or go see what's missing from your pre-approval, or go see why you got denied. So then you can reverse engineer and work backwards and fix those things. So yeah, I encourage everyone in my new book coming out, Lord of My Land. That's like the first thing I say is, yo, go sit down with a mortgage person. Stop being scared. Stop talking about, oh, I know my credit bad. I know I make enough money. You don't know nothing yet. Go see the doctor. And the doctor in real estate is the mortgage person because they got the money. And go figure out if you're financeable or not, and if not, why aren't you financeable? And then do those things or build towards those things. All right, no problem, okay. And to my YouTube subscribers and watchers, you guys are getting an inside look at private lessons who my students get every other week in the academy. My commercial real estate students, our residential real estate students, our credit mastery students get Monday calls, our stocks and finance students get calls tomorrow. So this is an opportunity you all have. Enrollment is open now for the Academy, go to jmorrisonacademy.com. You get all your lessons, textbooks, everything, and these private mentorship calls that you'll probably never get again like this, but I'm just giving a sample out. Peace. Hello.
Hey, gang, how you doing?
I'm doing great, King. Peace. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling from North Jersey.
Okay.
And my only question is in reference to the this weekend.
All right.
I paid for it and everything, but the date on my ticket says the 27th.
The 27th? You bought
Yeah.
the Dallas one? Did you pay for the Dallas one or a Jersey one?
I paid for the New Jersey. I'm from North Jersey, but it says Dallas.
Interesting. What's your name, King?
Greg Austin, LSTON.
ALSTON? Oh, yep, great. All right, Chris is going to look at. He said he spoke to you. He spoke to Chris Darden about this, or?
Yeah, we did speak, but I wasn't clear, so I told him, I don't want to miss out.
All right, just come. You'll be good. Chris, he got your name right now. He's going to look into it right now.
All right, cool.
Let's see the info. All right, no problem. Can you see you this weekend? All right, peace. Yeah, this weekend, daywithj.com, New Jersey, 8 hours, breakfast, 2 site visits, mastermind session, lock in this weekend. And our tour starts. We go to Dallas next on the 27th of February, then NYC. We got Miami, DC, Tennessee, Memphis, a bunch of other cities and states. So daywithj.com to access our national boot camp tour. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Peace, Ken.
This is Greg Austin again.
Okay. Next student.
Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, this is Alicia from Mississippi.
How are you doing, Queen?
I'm doing well, King. My question is trying to evaluate a property, a rental property. I found a triplex and was able to get a lot of the expense numbers. Okay. And was trying to determine trying to figure out how do I determine that whether or not this is a viable piece of property or not.
Gotcha. All right, so let's talk about, this is solely for the purpose of your rental portfolio or for someone's rental portfolio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so have you looked at the property in regards to its purchase price, any repairs needed, and what the market value is?
I found the purchase price. I have not had an opportunity to go into the unit as of yet because they are renters there now, and we have to schedule a day and a time.
Okay.
But they're going to be able to open up and allow me to go in.
All right. And have you pulled comps? Have you pulled comps on the property yet to get what the market value is? Have you done that yet?
I have not done the comps yet. I'll be doing that hopefully on Friday. I did speak with a local realtor who told me that he would be glad to help and assist.
Okay, wonderful. And is this something that you're looking to purchase for yourself, or is this something that you're looking to put into contract to potentially wholesale?
Well, I don't know. Looking at it for myself is something that I would, buy at home for that residual income.
I understand.
But how the numbers fall, it may be a better deal to wholesale.
Gotcha. So yeah, so sorry. So here's the 2 things we're gonna do then. So one is you gotta finish your due diligence, right, in regards to getting your comps and scheduling for the repairs, because that's gonna tell you how the numbers fall in regards to the equity, potential equity in a deal, right?
Okay.
So you want to figure out what your all-in costs are going to be, which is going to be your acquisition cost plus your rehab cost, and then we're going to find out our comps, and then you're going to divide that all-in cost by your comp number, and we'll see if that meets our purchase ratio, right?
Okay.
So that's going to let you know the equity ratio of the deal. Now, from a rental standpoint, how many? What you said? 3-unit triplex?
It's a 3-unit. The rent is currently $1,300 a month total rent, and right now the owner is asking for $65,000 for the property.
All right, gotcha. So here's how you're going to determine on the rental side. So you're bringing in a gross of $1,300 a month, right? And so there's two ways to look at it. You got to look at it, one, if you were to finance the property or if you were to pay cash for the property. The two different scenarios, right?
Okay.
Because if you were so if you were to pay cash, all that rental minus the maintenance fee and a vacancy rate, whatever those expenses, like utilities, all that cash flow is yours, right? If you bought it cash.
Right.
If you were to mortgage it, and there's obviously two ways to mortgage it. I don't know if you plan on living in one unit and renting the others out, or if you just plan on renting the whole thing out, all together.
Out.
Okay. So if you were to mortgage it and put, say, 20% down, which is what you would do, right? So you're going to calculate first 20% of 65,000, which is going to be what, 13,000, right? So that 20% is going to be your down payment. So now you're going to subtract that 13,000 from 65,000, and you're going to get your what's that, 52,000.
52. Yeah.
Right. That 52 is going to be, now mind you, that 13,000, your down payment is going to be instant equity for you, right? The money is not disappearing; it becomes your equity, right?
Okay.
And so now that 52,000, that's going to be the money. That's going to be your loan amount. It's going to be 52,000. So don't calculate your loan on 65. It's going to be on, obviously, minus your down payment. So that's going to be your loan amount. So you'd have to get with a mortgage company. I don't have my mortgage calculator in front of me, but with a mortgage company or your lender, you could find out, and we actually can help you with this. We have a great rental program, our Rental 360 program. We do a 30-year amortization. We don't care what income you make, as long as the property debt services itself as far as the rents. So we have a great lending program for this on the rental side. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. But you'll do a mortgage, just say whatever, 8% mortgage, 7% mortgage on 52,000 over 30 years. You'll calculate what that payment is on 52,000, which is going to be about $500, $550, $600 maybe, right? And so once you get that total, right, so now you're going to look at your 1,300 number. You're going to say, what's my utilities, right? What's my water per month? So if water is quarterly, you're going to divide it by 3. If water is annually, divide it by 12. But what's my water come out to a month, right? Maybe that's whatever, $50 a month for water. And if you're paying utilities, what does that come to per month? Is there a garbage fee? What that comes to per month? What's your taxes per month, right? Your insurance per month, your taxes, your insurance. You're going to write out all your expenses and subtract them from your gross rent, your 1,300. Now, if it's cash, that's your number. But now if you're mortgaging it, you obviously got to include your mortgage now in those expenses. So now you got 500 for mortgage, you got 250 a month for taxes, you got You subtract all those, and now you come to 500 a month net, right? So now you're going to look at, basically, your investment is your $13,000 that you put into the property, right? That was your cash investment plus any closing cost. And now you're going to look at what that $500 is per your cash investment. So let's just say, if I'm using all hypothetical numbers, right? I'm just saying, basically, take your gross rent, subtract all your expenses. That's going to be your net income. Now you're going to look at what money you put into the deal. Okay, you paid $13,000 down payment, right? Because that cash is now frozen a little bit, and you paid another, just say whatever. I say for even numbers, $2,000 in closing costs, right? So now you got $500 a month. You can multiply times 12 is $6,000 a year. So that's your net income for the year, $6,000. But you just spent $15,000, right? So you're gonna divide your $6,000 divided by your $15,000, and that's 0.4. So that's a 40%, right? That's a 40% return on the money you initially outlaid on that money, right? Bringing that $6,000 a year, and then obviously that gets lower and lower as you go on per year, and you're creating more equity in the house, etc. So that's a good return in regards to that particular deal. And if it was cash, it would even be greater, because now it's a little different scenario. But that's how you just kind of determine if it's a good buy or not, on the property.
That's where I got stuck, because with the current expenses on the property, the $1,300 coming in, it adds up to be about $960, and that's before you put the mortgage on it. And so that's what I was saying. It may be better to wholesale, because
doesn't seem like it's going to produce a whole lot of.
Right. See, when you get into the smaller numbers and smaller markets, they typically make more sense when you're buying them cash, because now you're cash flowing out everything when you're in the smaller markets.
Okay.
Right.
I got you.
Or unless you're just buying it for the eventual appreciation or something like that. So that you'll determine. But now when you do your comps though, and then say you're buying it potentially for 65,000, but you do your comps and you see it's worth 90,000 or 85, that might be a more attractive buy for you though, because now you know outside of your down payment, you also got another 20 so grand of equity as well. And then you can tap into that equity later. So maybe it's a little bit of rental income, but it's also the equity and appreciation of the property. So you got to weigh all those things once you get all the information.
I got you. I'll get those comps this week. And it's a very good, the area itself is okay, average type of area, but the town that is in is, I mean, booming. It's there. The market is booming. I mean, there's much growth and development going on.
Right. So that's you got to consider all of that. Right. Correct.
Yes, and so that's one reason why I was thinking too. I wanted to kind of talk it out because to see if it's okay. Maybe the cash flow is not that great on one hand, but it is a good property, and over time, the appreciation value will put you in a position to yield a much greater return. But I wasn't sure if I was thinking right.
No, that sounds good. You are thinking right. And then you got to just think though, again, if it is a good wholesale deal, what that number would net you, and you got to weigh the two, and just based on your priorities in life, right? You want cash right now, or you're looking for cash long term.
I got you.
All right, Queen. Great conversation. Good luck with that.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Peace. We'll go to our next student.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Peace, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Peace, gang.
How you doing? My name is Jamal. I'm calling I'm from Chester, but I'm calling from South Jersey right now.
Okay. Peace, please.
I have two quick questions. My first question is, we're trying to evaluate a deal. You're looking for the purchase ratio. Now, the acquisition cost or the purchase price will be different from the asking price of the seller, right? Or it can be different.
It can be. Correct. Yes, it can be.
It can be different.
Yes.
Now, when I'm with the seller and I'm negotiating a purchase price, which may be different from an asking price, well, I need an appraiser. Will it be wise to have an appraiser appraise the house to see if the house can be worth more or less than we asking for?
No. You don't have to get it would be wise, yes, to answer your question. We don't need to have an appraiser. If you've got a great appraiser relationship, yes, you can leverage them. But when you get into, and it's probably your next lesson, but when you get into building your team and evaluating a deal, all you need is your comps. Your comps are going to tell you the market value or the after repair value.
All right, cool. Now, that leads to my second question. You just did the comp.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm looking for the purchase ratio and I'm trying to find my market value in my comp, I take the all-in cost divided by 3 comps and then find 3 comps that's similar to the house that you're wholesaling.
Correct.
Now, what if I cannot find 3 comps? What if I can just find 1 or 2 comps in the area that's within 1 mile? And then how would I get that 65% or lower number?
Well, I mean, you got to go with. Right, yeah. And sometimes you may not find no comps, and then you got another issue on your hands. But that's going to give you your best and closest, most accurate value of the property, right? So it's like, if you can't find any comps, so how'd the seller find any comps to even know what they're asking for the property? A seller could ask anything off their emotion. Everybody feels a house is worth the most money in the world, but that doesn't mean it's really worth the most money in the world. So if you can't find any comps, you're finding limited comps, that's when you'll either need to go to a seriously experienced realtor, a real estate agent who can make adjustments based on other properties that may not be, you may have to go to a 2-bedroom, even though your unit is a 3-bedroom, and then have to add value for the extra bedroom, right? Or vice versa, or whatever, right? So you have to make adjustments, and that's something that maybe you rely on appraiser or experienced realtor to have a dialogue conversation with them and say, hey, you know what? I'm an investor. I'm stuck on this deal. I'm trying to find comps for this property. Heard you know the area well. You know, could you help me out a little bit? This is what I'm getting as far as comps and value. Do you know anything or know any other private sales or, you know what I mean, whatever that could help me? Or if you mix it, you know, what adjustments could I use to find a real value for this property or something like that. You have those, so you have to kind of rely on your team to help you get a better value, or you got to kind of go on just best information you have and roll the punches.
Well, and now when I'm definitely trying to set 65% or lower though, right?
Yes, for buy and flip. Yeah, right. Well, you do your ratio, and that's intended for, as I say in the lesson. So I want you to really pay attention to the lesson. For buy and flip investors, yes, they want to be at the 65% ratio. If someone's a buy and hold investor or just looking to live there, you can go above that ratio.
Okay, I got you.
Or a buy and flip person may take a 70, right? I'm just saying, as close you are to that number, the safer the deal is, the more equity a deal is. Obviously, the more equity, the more attractive. But you always can go above it. I'm just giving you a perspective of where your safe spot is, especially in the buy and flip, market.
Okay.
All right.
I got you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, Ken. Be good. Please. Next student. Yes, sir. Peace, King.
What's going on? I'm also talking about some advice right now because I made a risk move today, man. I was listening to some call last night. I didn't get a chance to ask you a question, but just quit my job today. I know that's something that sounds great, but I'm in the process of trying to start this wholesale thing. I just need some advice.
Okay, let's talk.
I need to know. I had rolled around today. Me and my fiance, we rolled around to some houses and we found a couple motivated sellers now. But the next step, what is the next process to get going with that?
All right.
Because I hear a lot of things like people say, you know, send out postcards and stuff like that. And I just need some advice from you.
All right, no problem, King. So if you guys were pounding the pavement, driving for dollars, you found a couple motivated sellers, and as important too, I want to say, I don't know what lesson are you on, King?
I'm on lesson 4.
All right. So here's the thing. Yeah. Okay. You got like 3 more lessons to really get the whole full picture on what you gotta do. I'm gonna give you a briefing right now. I ain't gonna leave you hanging, but you gotta get those other lessons, right? I know everybody anxious to get started now. I say in the very beginning of the course, you got to get through those first 6, 7 lessons to get the full scope of everything. So that's the first thing. You got to have the full information so you could, you know, operate with a strong knowledge base. So the next thing you're going to do, because right, you're going to learn in the next lesson on 5 about building your your buyer's list as well. So when you find these properties in the lesson 6 and 7, you're going to learn about closing and contracting the properties, right? So all that's coming. So what you want to do is, as you're building your inventory, these properties, right? Keep those sellers warm. Is you want to put a contract on the property so you secure them. Well, you want to evaluate them first. That's the first thing. You want to evaluate the deals and make sure they make sense. So it's cool the sellers are motivated. Now you got to go crunch the numbers and see if these properties actually make sense for an end investor. That's the next thing you want to do. Is do that.
Okay, because I'm in the market. I'm in Illinois right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the market it's kind of. I see a lot of guys rehab, flipping houses, and I deal with corporate for 4 years. I've been in that for 4 years, and I feel like, would it be a good idea to open up an LLC as a corporate or as a sort of construction company and get the house and flip it, or just stay with the wholesale as I start off?
I'm gonna say you don't have to stay with the wholesaler. Like what you're gonna get with the whole residential course, I'm gonna teach you every single step in all of those things: wholesaling, buying and flipping, buying and holding, managing contractors. So once you get the knowledge base, you then could make a educated move, right? I know you're moving fast. You just quit your job. You're like, y'all gotta make it happen. So honestly,
I quit my job because I felt like I was wasting time. I felt like I was contradicting myself because I feel like by me just putting time and investing in myself, I invested into the carpenter journey for 4 years, and I mean I'm in a situation that I'm in that when I started. So
right.
even though I got the knowledge and the skills, I feel like I can just put that towards my business and starting my own business.
Right. So what I'm saying is that you can, and I applaud that. And I don't think it's crazy. I think it's smart. But I'm saying that you still have a little, not long to go, but you got a little ways to go to get all the information that you need in order to be able to facilitate these transactions soundly, right? And so I'm saying to say, that's good you got the skills already. That's going to save you a lot of money. So now you got to understand evaluating the property, contracting the property, if it makes sense. Now, if it makes sense, you could either finance it, if you want to finance it and buy it yourself. You can pay for it cash. If you got cash saved up, you can get hard to soft money for it. You get private partner for it, or you can wholesale it. All those things you're about to learn over the next 10 weeks. So then you could bust whatever move you want because you got the information. And then you could assess for yourself. And obviously I'm here to support you, but assess for yourself, like, you know what, this is a good wholesale deal. Do I want to make 5 or 10 on it real quick? Or do I want to go ahead and contract to buy it, maybe put 3.5% down, go live in it, or get holler at Jay about this hard money or soft money or private lending and see if we can get a quick loan or rehab. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, and do this and third, and then I can make 30 grand on it instead of 5 grand on it. Like, those things you'll be able to make once you get through your next progression of your lessons. You have the information you feel confident about going into transaction.
Because I don't get to try to sit on testimony or something.
It's all good, kid.
I'm at the point now where it's like all over some of my own people or it's nothing because most people say find a mentor and do this and you take guys this to learn to pick their brain and stuff like that. But I just can't find no mentor. And you're like my only mentor right now today. So you say wait it out and get all of that and go from there.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, once you get the information, you're gonna feel a lot stronger. And I even say, even after these next 3-4 lessons, then you'll at least be in a position to really wholesale strong and understand that. And then your next lesson is going to be on financing. You understand that. If I don't know what kind of position you're in, if you want to look into our one-on-one coaching to kind of accelerate things for you, where we can actually spend private time and and build with you, email a team over at jmrepartners.com. Get the free consultation for the one-on-one coaching. Maybe that fits in your your budget, your wheelhouse, and we can kind of accelerate things for you. But at the end of the day, it's just having information, and then you can execute. You know what I mean? It's like shoot, if we want to play poker, I ain't gonna sit at the poker table with you and I don't know the rules of poker. We're gonna lose every time.
Right.
It's better to
So
take
what steps do I take to get the one-on-one? Because I think that you in Chicago, but like, do I come to Chicago or will you come to me for the one-on-one, or do we meet halfway, or how does that go? Yeah,
it depends what package you get, what service you get. So what I would say is go to the website. It's JMRE Partners, right? Like J Morrison Real Estate, jmrepartners.com. Just put your info in for a free consultation. One of the kings will call you, break down the situation. They'll tell you the new packages that we have and offer, and figure out what fits, fits best for you. If it's that, hop on that. If it's just for the day with Jay, where we got the day boot camp, and you want to kind of do that to get some intense time of training, then do that when we come to Chicago on the boot camp. Or if it's the one-on-one yearly, or the one-on-one half a year, or one-on-one over Skype, or there's different packages that we have. So figure out what fits your budget and your needs best, and let's rock.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Peace, King.
All right, peace, King. Have a great night. We'll go to our next student. It's going great. Thank you. How are you, John?
Good. Calling from over from Michigan. I had a couple questions.
Sure thing.
And my first question is about you were lesson before. You were talking about rehab costs and talking to contractors.
Okay.
Just wondering if you have any suggestions on where I can find some good contractors.
Oh, great question. So John asked, what are my suggestions to find good contractors? And I'm going to tell you, the best place to find contractors, like I'm talking about easily, is in a real estate office. Any real estate office will have cards or recommendations of contractors that they recommend or prefer services. So right there, you can walk in one real estate office and leave with 4 or 5 contractor cards. Another way you can find good contractors is actually drive around neighborhoods and find out who's doing the contracting and see somebody doing the work, hop out the car and say, hey, who's the boss? Who's the project manager? Can I get your card? I do that often. And who else I would say is good referrals? I really find real estate agencies are like realtor brokerages are like the easiest way to get good contractor referrals because I'm in real estate all day, every day. And they'll have good client, referrals from clients who've used services of contractors. So now you're not only getting your referral, to give you a warm referral that with a good recommendation.
All right. Thanks. And my second question was for, as I'm building my brand up, getting into the social media game, for those of us that are inexperienced, how do we be able to leverage that? We don't have any experience making these deals in real estate.
Gotcha. So as you're building your brand, your website, your social media, you're saying, how can you leverage the non-experience, right? You're new, you're a novice, right? No problem. Guess what? I was once a novice too. And every real estate investor once was a novice and new to the game. Every realtor was new at one point. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had to come in at some point. So what you do, and what I found, and what I advise all my proteges to do as you're coming new into the industry, is play on that youthfulness, play on your energy, play on your commitment, play on your integrity, play on the other intangible. You can't do anything about experience, right? You can't fake experience. Like you don't have the experience yet. But your hard work, your integrity, your transparency, your attention to detail, those things I would leverage, right? In my branding and in my marketing and all that kind of stuff. So when I was first new to the industry, like I was like, hey, call me 24/7, right? And I literally would answer questions like any time for people, for my clients. I always was just, very punctual, very on point. Professionalism, another thing that you can leverage, right? And just being an asset to the clients. A lot of people that have been in the industry, like myself, who are becoming dinosaurs. I'm not. Well, in the sense of I don't get comfortable. My work ethic is something different. But a lot of people who are more seasoned in the industry start getting comfortable, and they lose that youthful energy that you guys come to the table with. And I think that's going to be your advantage, is where their experience, you can't beat that, but you can beat their work ethic. You can beat, their integrity. You can beat their commitment to the clients or to their projects. So I would certainly leverage that. All right, no problem. Have a great night. That's great questions. We're another student. After this, I'm going to eat dinner.
Peace, Jay. Mr.Real from Northern Jersey.
All right, peace, Ken.
How you doing? Quick question in regards to basically finding out who owns vacant homes. I come across a lot of vacant homes, and I just don't know the process in regards to finding out who actually owns them. The quickest way of basically looking into that.
Gotcha. Well, I noticed some resources in you. If you look at your student resources, we got some websites in there you can use. I don't have it on the top of my head. You always can go to the city tax assessor's office and find out as well, right? The county clerk, city tax assessor, they got the owner's name and info. Or at least as of the latest address or latest name of the owner that they've had. So that's another way. And really you can Google search and you could find different softwares or websites as well that will try to give you some insight to that. But the city typically will have some kind of owner record or owner information for any property.
Okay. I definitely appreciate that.
All right, no problem, okay. Take care. All right, so we are wrapping up our JMA Residential Real Estate Course Mentorship Call for this evening. And we know we went a little longer for everyone's. I mean, no big deal. YouTube, you guys got to watch live stream. So for our mentorship call students, you guys now, I'll post this YouTube video and you guys be able to watch this playback. And for those of you who aren't in the academy, I'm sure you've seen the value in this call. And our academy students get access to our call archives, right? So these calls get recorded and they're put in our student portal session or in our back office for our students. And they get access to all the calls from the beginning of the academy since January 2014. So they have months and months and months of mentorship calls to review and to learn from. And that's the opportunity that you guys have. So I'm starting my national tour, our Day with Jay Bootcamp. So you guys can see that at daywithjay.com. And for those who want to learn, right? I know learning's not so fun. Everyone wants to just do. You just want to go flip a house out of nowhere. But I'm telling you, to avoid mistakes, get the knowledge base first. Know, then do. If you go play blackjack, you go play poker, you go play basketball, you go play anything, and you don't learn the skills and strategies that are associated with that industry or sport, you don't get spanked. So it's better to take your time, get the mentorship, get the education, and then go play. You go play hard. And that's what we're offering at the J. Morrison Academy. You guys can enroll today. We're now opening enrollment at jmorrisonacademy.com. I'm speaking to my YouTube subscribers, students, so I know you guys are already in this. But anyway, we're out for the night, man. As always, it says on every single call, and I mean it. I love you all. I do this from the bottom of my heart to give everyone every opportunity to succeed within the industry that I know best, the real estate industry and business practices. And I want everyone to be able to take advantage of it and be able to understand how to wholesale properties legitimately, how to build a business legitimately, how to finance properties legitimately, how to manage contractors, build leads, find buyers, find sellers, build your portfolio, manage properties, build a real estate team around you to support you, right? I want you guys to learn all these different things, and that's just what I've been able to offer. And this is the system that I created. This is the real estate education system that I created at J. Morrison Academy, and I'm proud of that. Thank you guys for being a part of it and supporting it and being able to be testimonies and living proof that this stuff works. We have so many students who are closing deals, flipping properties, buying their first homes, wholesaling, making thousands of dollars as teenagers, college students, ex-felons, single moms. Like, this is real stuff. So I'm thankful to be in a position to be able to offer you this. I'm glad God gave me the vision. And I had the drive and work ethic to execute. And so I want to grow the academy. We'll continue to grow. I want to thank my staff and my team for being a part of bringing this vision to life. And I'll holler at you guys on the next mentorship call in a couple weeks. Peace.